main goal of this mode is to steal the eggs and bring them back to your egg-shaped boat to sort of bank them. The sanctums, however, are guarded by powerful Aniimo, including Witchin, which apparently can infect you and your Aniimo, making you crazy and sad, and it will spread to your teammates if you get too close to them. There's also Belittle that can roll you up into a ball, and it looks really funny when it happens. At the center of this area is the Forbidden Peak, which only opens under certain conditions, they said, but has a mega rare egg inside of it that all of the player teams are going to fight over. The twist is when you touch the egg, you become the egg. You can still roll and jump around, but you can't defend yourself otherwise, so you need to make it back to your boat while getting attacked by Aniimo and the other players. And if you lose all your health, you get kicked out of the egg. It's kind of like if the Pokemon Safari was multiplayer with PvP and an extraction mode. It sounds crazy but fun. And as someone who loves extraction modes, this has got me excited, even though it seems pretty crazy for a game like this. I really want to try it. What's also really interesting is that there are newer, darker Aniimo variants tied into this mode and the sanctums, and so it's going to be pretty fun to see what's in there and what you can collect. Outside of that, solo battle sims, which is where you can fight strong Aniimo with your team, have been updated with new modes and a better structure. Then you have holo battles, where you can team up with up to 3 other players to fight bosses together that will have seasonal boosts for certain types of Aniimo, meaning you need to strategize your team comps together. But let's talk about the home building system, because there's been some heavy upgrades to this based on player feedback. Your homeland is now designed as a kind of RV. It looks like you have a sort of island setup of some kind. You can decorate your RV, interact with Aniimo and all of that kind of stuff. And you will have another sort of area where you can plant crops, use your Aniimo to water them, and automate processes like milling wheat with these amusement park style rides that you can ride and your friends can ride too if they come and visit. It looks like a very cute but functional space, and I love that they're expanding on the housing system. I just want to see how it all plays out in the full game, and hopefully it's not too grindy to get going. But what do you guys think? Do you like a housing system in your creature collectors like this? I think it is a pretty good fit. On top of that, something that they touched on is a new city called Astra. This is where players and Aniimo live together, and it's meant to be a fully explorable social hub with stores and NPCs. Also, character creation has been improved massively with new outfits inspired by specific Aniimo. You can even put accessories on the Aniimo themselves, and there's just meant to be better NPC visuals as well. Performance was also of creature collectors because Aniimo just had a big wave of new details revealed through its second closed beta test and recent developer stream. We actually played Aniimo in the last beta test and had an absolute blast with it, so if you want to see proper hands-on gameplay and impressions, there's already loads on the channel. But in today's video, we're going to go over the latest news and new systems coming in the game. There's some cool stuff. And honestly, the more we learn about Aniimo, the more it feels like it's shaping up to be something pretty cool. The visuals look great, the mechanics are getting deeper, and the creature design just gets better with a bigger roster. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out on launch and what kind of monetization systems it will have, but for now, we're going to keep a close eye on it and break everything down. From new Aniimo to new regions and a full-on sort of extraction mode, well, this second beta feels like a pretty big turning point for the game. If you've missed our previous coverage, you might be wondering what Aniimo is. Well, it's a creature collecting RPG where you explore a big, vibrant world, battle, transform into and befriend Aniimo, and build your team across different regions with a large roster to collect. One big factor that sets it apart from other monster tamers out there, and something that people have been wanting in games like Pokemon for a long time, is the fact you can actually play as the Aniimo in combat themselves. You don't just have to command them. This instantly makes the combat and exploration feel way more dynamic and hands-on compared to traditional turn-based creature games. The combat can get quite flashy, it's very ability-driven, and it has a bigger focus on positioning and timing and team comp than other games, given that it's real-time and there's big ground AoEs and things like that. When you combine this with the very open-ended exploration the game has, loads of activities and hidden areas through the world, and now some very deep systems, it seems like it's aiming pretty high for a new monster tamer or monster collector game. Now, we did get a brand new trailer recently showing off a ton of combat, world exploration, new Aniimo and environments, And honestly, it's a great trailer, I really enjoyed watching it. Through the developer streams, we've revealed a bunch of new Animo, the first one being Fentuft, and honestly, this little guy looks like he's already going to be a fan favorite. It's super cute. He's going to live in a region called the Driftwise Meadow, alongside other Animo, and this area has a really cool emotional twist to it according to the devs. This area is high altitude and will include a variant of Nimby that hides in the shadows and mist. Fentuft is looking super cute, and it even uses its own hair to make a little bed for itself, which, while it is cute when electrocuted, gets bigger and seems to act as a bounce pad in the world. And there's loads of these kind of interactions that makes the world of Animo feel pretty alive rather than just a big barren area with a load of things to tick off. Another cool one we saw was Kozite, a little hard-working Animo that lives inside a scary castle built full of storage rooms, castle structure. From there, though, it seems like there's a fiery volcanic biome that introduces new Animo like Magmarex. Honestly, it looks really cool as a sort of fire crystal infused dinosaur lizard or something like that, and it's probably going to be one that's good in combat from the look of it. Now, this is where things start to get a bit crazy, because in a few short snippets in the trailer, the Animo log shows a total of over 199 variants. Compared to the 60 and weak, if you wake them up, they get super grumpy, change their appearance completely, and then get hell-bent on chasing you down. It's a simple idea, but it is pretty fun. Another thing to touch on is this thorn-like tower in the mountains that has a dungeon-style area inside of it, filled with nature Animo like Budsquire and Mellowbloom. It's a bit mysterious at the moment, as they didn't explain it fully, but it does show that there's going to be a lot of different types of activities and content in the world, especially considering the first closed beta test had a lot already. And then, one of our favorite community-driven additions, when players asked for a bat Animo, they delivered, and now we have Echo, a very sound-sensitive bat that can tell you how far away and where sounds are coming from that should tie in mechanically to activities or world exploration in some way. And then there was Malangel, I think that's how you say it, a sort of darker and cooler looking Animo, a bit transparent as well. It can freeze enemies and fight with its fangs, despite the fact that it looks kind of cute. Supposedly this one's going to be pretty interesting. On top of all of that, new bosses have been added in, and boss fights were already some of the most fun content in the last beta, so more variety here is a big win. Each region will basically have its own powerful boss Animo, but beyond that, there are legendary tier Animo which are even more powerful and act like guardians of the land. One of the ones that they talked about in the dev stream was Aurelia, a legendary Animo that can gather and absorb colors. Supposedly, she gave up all of her colors to protect the land and bring it back into bloom, and this caused her to go into a very deep sleep. Aside from that, we have to wait to learn more, but at least it's good to know there are these legendary tier Animo in the game that are meant to be pretty powerful. Now let's move over to some of the biggest additions for the actual gameplay, because there is a brand new mode that they went over called Egg Heist, located in the outskirts of the Lost Isles. This is a